2020 just happened. All kinds of shit happened, and including an election. And boy, oh boy, what an election it was. We still more or less don't know what happened. Well, anyway, at least since I last checked before I worked out a few hours ago, I came back and I shit shaved and showered and got dressed up, going to go and have dinner shortly. And I guess I'll find out some more information. So I don't know if we have an official president-elect Joe Biden, but I my guess is before it's all over, and for all intents and purposes, I'm going to call it right now at 6:10 p.m. November 6, 2020. Right now for Joe Biden, he is going to be our next president in January when he's sworn in. He's president-elect Joe Biden, as far as I'm concerned. And it was contentious between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I mean, I think anybody running against Donald Trump, it would be contentious because, I mean, love him or hate him, he's definitely polarizing. Not the only polarizing person around. I mean, the difference between, let's say, Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Joe Biden is that Joe Biden is perhaps less polarizing. And might I say, while I'm not particularly lovey-dovey towards Joe Biden, I do like him a hell of a lot better than I did Hillary Clinton. Um, I just don't like Hillary Clinton. But anyway, this election was a clusterfuck, and I'm telling you, the hardcores on both sides. I'm talking about the diehard partisan hacks on both sides are just on overdrive. And it's a mixed blessing to not be a partisan hack. I kind of wish I could be a partisan hack, but the way that everything is set up, there's nothing to be a partisan hack for. I mean, and I'm going to kind of go to a side tangent for a moment. I mean, if I lived in Great Britain, I mean, it would be an easy thing for me to be a partisan hack for the British Labour Party. Or if I was in Germany, I could be easily a partisan hack for the Social Democrats. Or if I lived in Canada, the New Democratic Party of Canada, the NDP, I can be a partisan hack for them, or I can be a partisan hack for the Socialist Party in France. But between Democrats and Republicans, I can't be a partisan hack. Now I can be a cheerleader for individuals that broadly embraces the politics that I do, which is this politics of social democracy or socialism or democratic socialism, however you want to label it. And that includes Bernie Sanders and includes members of the Squad and perhaps a stronger left wing within the Democratic Party, stronger than it used to be. And I am grateful for that movement. And while I'm not a Democrat, I do identify with the left wing of the Democratic Party and be glad to support them wherever I can. But anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. It was a polarizing election and diehard partisans, and we have a clusterfuck situation. And it was, of course, contentious between Biden and Trump. But I call it that Joe Biden is right now president-elect. Now, what this is, what do you think it all means on, well, I would say a positive level for those of us who are on the left? Well, while I do not personally like Kamala Harris, because again, just like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris was far, far too conservative for me. She's too much of a normie Democrat, too much of an establishment corporate centrist. And she's actually kind of right wing in a lot of ways. As the attorney general, I mean, what she did as attorney general was absolutely just unforgivable. But she was kind of drunk off of that 1990s style Democratic Leadership Council. I'm going to be a diet Republican to defeat the actual Republicans sort of posture, and she still rides on that. So does Joe Biden. They're all on that corporate Democrat train. Both of them are corporate Democrats. But while I do shy away from identity politics as a general rule, I do think it's okay and in fact, I think is kind of cool that we have a female vice president to be sworn in January. Now, and I'm not saying a female just for the sake that she's a female. It would be nice that we could have a female worth a damn as far as being for good policies. But as far as do I think that there should be a glass ceiling for that works against women when it comes to the presidency or the vice presidency? Absolutely not. And before anybody calls me a racist, and before anybody calls me a sexist or try to insinuate that, I voted for Howie Hawkins the other day, the Green Party candidate for president. Yeah, just like Joe Biden, Howie Hawkins is an old white crusty old man who has better politics, obviously, than Joe Biden. Angela Walker is a young African American woman, and I enthusiastically voted for Howie Hawkins and Angela Walker. And so anybody who's going to go and try to whip that out, they just might as well just give it up. Okay. Back in 2008, when I did not vote for Ralph Nader, I voted instead for an Arab American by the name of Ralph Nader. So nobody better, you know, use the race card or on me because they're out to lunch. I shy away from identity politics, but when when your identity, you break through the barriers and you're able to enjoy the fruits of success and liberty with the rest of mainstream Americana, and you're in a minority or disenfranchised group, that is actually a positive thing. And on that level, Kamala Harris being the first female VP is something to I think it's awesome. I just wish instead of Kamala Harris, it could have been someone else, uh, Tulsi Gabbard. But anyway, instead of an old white man like Joe Biden, I wish it could have been somebody else, Bernie Sanders. But anyway, getting back to what I'm saying, let me get back to I just have to kind of keep it real. Just because Trump is gone, or looks like he's going to be seemingly gone in a few months from the White House, I'm not going to sit there and act like everything is okay because the Democrats are in charge. I criticize Republicans when they're controlling the country, and I will criticize the Democrats when they're controlling the country, especially when both parties are doing shit that I disapprove of. Getting back to Joe Biden. Now, there are going to be some things, they're going to be better or mildly better, marginally better because of a Biden presidency. When Donald Trump made the United States lead the Paris Accord on climate change, that was wrong. And it was actually flat out evil because I'm not exactly like the biggest environmentalist in the world, which is odd since I'm a registered Green Party member. I'm more labor oriented on my politics, but I do believe we have climate change, we have global warming, and we need to do something about it. And while the Paris Accord was not perfect, it was a nice, cautious little first step. And the fact that Donald Trump had the United States leave it was not terrible policy wise. It was also an international embarrassment. Um, and we need to get back into the Paris Accord. And I'm fairly confident that Joe Biden would put us back into the Paris Accord. Better judges. Now, I mean, I don't like the centrist judges that Democrats have been choosing lately, but they're far better than somebody who's going to come in with a fundamentalist Christian orientation who wants to impose Christian Sharia. And that's the problem with Republicans. I simply don't trust Republicans when it comes to court appointees. That they're going to choose people who are going to be fundamentalist Christians. They're also going to choose people who are going to be corporatists, even worse corporatists than the Democrats. And the Democrats are going to choose corporatists too, and they're going to choose people who favor neoconservative things like the Patriot Act, and and all of that, and suspension of habeas corpus, and the repression of civil liberties in the name of national security. Look at that motherfucker, Brett Kavanaugh, in the U.S. Supreme Court, and you know what I'm talking about. And I want to have it on record that I want Brett Kavanaugh removed from the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't recognize him. But anyway, let me continue. The Iran peace treaty. One of the best things Barack Obama did. One of the worst things Donald Trump did on a foreign policy level. And honestly, I would have to say that while I oppose what Donald Trump did on a foreign policy level with the Iran peace treaty, maybe on foreign policy he might have been mildly better. He wasn't as interventionist, and that will probably be one of the mildly unsettling things about Biden. Biden will revert back to the interventionism that we were sort of getting away from, because there was improvement with North Korea. I give Donald Trump credit for North Korea. I give him credit for that. But as far as selling arms to Saudi Arabia, well, they are all going to do that. Democrats, Republicans alike, and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a piece of shit for selling arms to Saudi Arabia, which is being used to funnel into Yemen to oversee a genocide, where the United States is indirectly contributing to a genocide in Yemen, and some of the weaponry is being given to radicals in that region to commit acts of terrorism against the West. So on that one, Donald Trump, he's fundamentally wrong, and I'm sure Joe Biden will continue to be fundamentally wrong on that same question. Um, but anyway, but on the Iran peace treaty, he was wrong to leave and to dismantle the treaty. That treaty was working. The objective of that treaty that Obama did, which was one of his best things he did while he was president, was to go and make damn sure Iran is not to have get nuclear weapons capability. That the United States can be in a peaceful relationship with Iran and kind of acclimate Iran into the West and into the international community of nations. And yeah, I'm for giving back that money to Iran. It wasn't our money to begin with. It was fine. It was those assets were froze in 79 and 80 by Jimmy Carter, which was fine at that time, but it's outlived its usefulness. Give Iran back its money, help them prop themselves back, and kind of phase them into the international community. Remember this: Iran commits far less terrorism against the West than Saudi Arabia, that the United States coddles and enables. Domestically, we may get a minimum wage increase. It might not be $15 an hour, but we might get it to 10 or 12 an hour. Far less than what I would hope, but definitely better than the status quo, because we haven't seen a wage increase in over a decade. And maybe a better handling of the COVID crisis, at least on the executive level. Pelosi and Pelosi in the House and Mitch McConnell is just going to continue to be assholes, and that's just the way it's going to be in that regard. But at least on an executive level, I think that Joe Biden might handle the COVID crisis mildly better. Now, here's my message to the left, and I'm part of that left. Okay, even though I did not vote for Biden, I voted third party. I do consider those who are on the left that hates Joe Biden, that still voted for him in the name of lesser evil, that I hope that they are successful. And I contributed in my way, even though I voted for Howie Hawkins. I voted for Democrat for the U.S. Senate and Democrat for the U.S. House, because I figure give Joe Biden as much help as he needs if he wins, or give or harm reduction, slow down Donald Trump as much as he can be slowed down. And my phone is ringing. I am so sorry about that. Let me get back to what I was saying here. The neocon wars will continue with Donald Trump gone. We're still going to see the neocon wars with Biden. Remember, Biden voted for the Iraq War. I'm concerned that Biden will do a little bit of payback to the Never Trumpers that supported him this time, and I think that there will probably be some cabinet posts that will consist of Republicans. We will have looks like a slimmer majority for the Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives, which is objectionably not good news. And the Senate remains divided. What marginally good things that exist in the courts? What marginally good things that exist? Excuse me. What marginally good things that Biden's for will be stopped by this damn U.S. Supreme Court that Trump is appointed, because he shifted the court so far to the right. It's going to take a generation or more to wave this country back into more of a more positive direction. So in a way, it's probably a setback for progressives, because it enables the corporate Democrats in learning the wrong lessons that in order to win, you need to go and appeal to the right, to the center right, and basically tell the left to stay in their place and fuck off and stay in their corner, but support them anyway. And so they're not going to thank the left that actually fought to help Biden get elected. So they're going to learn the wrong lessons, and it's going to be a while before this movement that Bernie Sanders helped fuel in the last few years gain momentum again. I'm probably going to be another, at a minimum, another 8 years, and 8 to 12 years before this happens. And I'm sad. And then probably Bernie Sanders will not be running. And I'm sure in 2024 there will be a progressive challenger if Biden is reelected, or Kamala Harris, runs, and if there's a primary and everything. I'm sure there will be some people in the primaries to challenge, but I don't think that. I think that the momentum is going to unfortunately swing in favor ideologically for the corporate Democrats. That being diet Republicans, they're going to have in their mindset is the best way to deal with shit. So that's basically what's going to happen. And anyway, that's pretty much what I got to say. And if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you don't like what you heard, comment anyway. Share the material and content on this channel. If you're passionate about something and have a platform, utilize it. And if you don't, build a platform and utilize it. And I say this as a First Amendment absolutist, because we're all the muckrakers of our time. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Help make this channel grow. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace, and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024.